أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أطيعوا الله أطيعوا رسوله أولي الأمر منكم. And always a reminder for myself, and abdukal ajis, da'ifu, miskeen, zalim, jahal, and but for the grace of Allah that we are still in existence. Alhamdulillah, we went over the examples of Surat al-Qamar and the immensity of the month of Qamar, the month of the moon, the full moon, and its representation for guidance. And then Allah gives us the treasures throughout the surah and some information regarding the people of Thamud and the people of Aad. And that the people of Thamud, immense giants carving homes and hobbies into mountains, huge mountains, not something small. Their size massive, their strength massive. And Allah sends to them a warner named Saleh alayhi salam. And the way of marifah is to go within the heart, and from the heart of awliya to the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad. All prophecies exist within the prophecy of Sayyidina Muhammad, like an agency. That the representation of Allah is Sayyidina Muhammad, and all the Prophets represent Sayyidina Muhammad. For Sayyidina Saleh to come and to warn his immense creation, immense strength, and sends for them naqatullah, a camel, and asks from the people that this camel came out of a mountain, the same mountains that they love and they were carving. Like it carved for them a camel, and Allah brought the camel to life. And that camel came amongst them, and Sayyidina Saleh warned them, this is a sign from our Creator that don't harm this camel and allow it access to drink. And because the camel was so immense in size, when it was drinking, it was finishing the well of its thirst. And they were becoming angered. And as a result, ultimately they harmed the camel. They slaughtered the camel. In this understanding of immense realities is naqatullah, and the camel represents a reality of our soul. Allah gave to us a creature. This creature doesn't require much and can go long distances, which is the reality of the soul. It exists. If you don't feed it, it will go for an immense journey. But what Allah asked of Sayyidina Saleh's people, allow the access to the water. Means allow the camel to quench its thirst, because this is a sign from Allah, and Mawlana Shaykh comes and describes that that's the reality of our soul, is that the water of our soul, the thirst of our soul are Allah's Divinely knowledges. Knowledges of dunya has no benefit for the soul, it takes nothing from it. These are the benefits for your physicality. You learn accounting, law, whatever these things we learn on this earth for the benefit of providing for your rizq, for whatever reason people are learning. It's not the knowledge of the soul. And our responsibility, because every Prophet has an eternal message for us, our responsibility for the immense secret Allah gave, the miracle Allah gave of our soul, that don't deny this soul access to Divinely knowledges, the fountains of realities, the fountains of the Divine. As a result, if it has access to these fountains, you nourish and empower the soul. The good deeds and selfless deeds, they give water and sustenance to the soul. Imam Ali said, when you feed yourself, when you eat, you feed yourself. When you feed others, you feed your soul. Means our life is not only taking care of our physicality and that the physicality is comfortable and everything that the physicality wants, but we have a responsibility that Qamar is reminding us in this month of guidance, that we have a responsibility to our soul, and that our soul has to be quenched from divine realities and selfless deeds that nourish, meditation and tafakkur and contemplation that nourish and feed and give an energy to the soul. So not only this camel can move but can be empowered. And then we described last night that Saleh, from the saad, the laam, alif, the ha at the end, but the main is the saad and laam and alif. That the element that Allah puts, we said every name has a secret and every secret has a name because it's an element, it's an ingredient. Allah didn't reactive, it's proactive. Allah didn't name him when he came onto the earth salam. It's sent with this name. His name, his jism is his reality. It carries what he will be capable of in dunya. That's why the seeker seeks their own name. Not only the name my mom and dad gave me, hoping maybe they were inspired. If not inspired, then that has no power. But what are the 7 names Allah named me? From the highest into the Divinely Presence through the 7 paradises and upon this earth. Allah wrote for us names. Those names have our realities and our secrets of who we are and who are we to be. If we can achieve that in this dunya, we open the floodgates of our reality. As we ascend into the realities of the heaven and the spiritual ascension, it's like an atom with 7 rings. We exist on the outermost ring, the electromagnetic field, the least important ring. What Allah wants for our life, make an ascension. This is not it. Your outer electron is not who you are. You have to reach to your nucleus, that what are you in this Divinely Presence. So with this dot and 7 rings, what happens when you start to ascend? You penetrate 1 ring, means now the knowledges that were illuminating in that paradise, once you break through that ring, now floods to you. Up, 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 all the way up into the nucleus. What happens? Each of those rings now feed all the way down to your reality. It's like you're opening, I don't know, from farming, it's like a well of water. As soon as you open the path, it starts to flood towards you. So that these 7 realities are dressing the servant at his electromagnetic reality, at his earthly reality is being dressed by all his spiritual realities. This was the purpose of our ascension. And when Allah gives to the nation of Bani Israel, even before Sayyidina Saleh was from the Arabic prophets, not even from Bani Israel. The Aad and Thamud were not in the Torah, it's from the Arabic tribes and the Arabic prophets of that region. And what Allah gave for that prophet to destroy all of the creations they were making of rocks, and gave them and his reality, like we described last night, as saad. Means that saad we asked before is that meditate. The Siddiqs, why Allah granted them to be called Siddiq and granted them saad. As a result of that saad and the reality of the Siddiqs, the servants whom are truthful in their deeds and actions. It's not self-righteousness, we call ourselves something. But what Allah wants is the praise of servants whom they are truthful in their deeds and in their actions. Their truthfulness is to love. As a result, Allah granted this servant a saad. This saad is the reality of salawat. وَصَلِّ عَلَى Nabi. Why Allah is asking us, Salli ala? Why to make salawat? Why to praise and pray? Because the reality of that saad, its power is from salawat. So it means the haqqaiq is Allah opened for Sayyidina Saleh the ability to do durood al-sharif. And as soon as he began to make his durood al-sharif and salawat upon Sayyidina Muhammad, what happens? In the realm of their ignorance, the truth of Allah's appearance begins to appear. Because Prophet described, if you remember me, Allah sends my soul to praise upon you. With the appearance of the lights and the energies of Muhammadun Rasulullah, what happens? Their entire mountain is brought to dust. When Allah says, Qujal haq, say, when the truth comes, falsehood will perish. Falsehood zahukan, it will crumble. Means the falsehood of their belief had no way of surviving the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad by the durood al-sharif. What was a gift to other nations for their fight against oppression, Allah made us from that reality, being from Ummat al-Muhammad Sayyidina Muhammad's nation. It is the gift that given to us, and when we realize that power and that ability, means that every durood, every salawat that we're making and energizing destroys every mountain and every ignorance within ourselves. That's what we were trying to go towards, the reality of that understanding, that when we're waiting for Sayyidina Mahdi it's not an external event, it's an internal event. It's an event that has to take place within ourselves. These examples of these realities of the Prophets of Allah are giving to us that as He destroyed an outside mountain and the hardness of the hearts and everything that a rock and a mountain symbolizes, destroyed it by the reality of the sword within His name. And Allah says, I gave that to you because you're from the nation of Sayyidina Muhammad. Your mandate to say Prophet's name in your azan, in your salah, every part of our life is mentioning upon Sayyidina Muhammad. And when the ashiqeen begin to understand and know, the durood al-sharif is the immense powers from Allah. As soon as they take a life in which to make the salawat, the praisings upon that reality, every ignorance, every hardness, every horribleness within the heart will be brought down and destroyed. Without the salawat, there's no way to take away the hardness of the heart. So once we say something, now think about the lack of it. So the ones whom training to bring Sayyidina Mahdi within their heart, they're giving to us that you want to bring down a mountain outside, first bring the mountain inside. Take the rock out of your heart, take the hardness out of your heart, take every calcification within you that makes you to be hard and stubborn and ignorant, destroy it with salawat al-Nabi. And as your purity grows, your sincerity grows, your salawats become much more powerful. And its power is by the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad. He begins to accompany the servant. You be with whom you love, and whom you love will be with you. As a result, they begin to activate these realities. And a servant whom does not make their durood al-sharif and does not make salawat, how can they destroy the hardness of the heart? How can they destroy the mountain of ignorance that resides within someone? And Nabi Musa said, I want to see you. So how you can see me? See, you look to the mountain and it would be dust. And Allah says, if we reveal the Qur'an upon the mountain, it will be dust. But it's revealed to the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad. Means this durood al-sharif that brings the presence of Prophet. Allah is saying what? When the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad comes into our ruhaniyat and into our presence, every mountain will be brought down. And the worst of mountains is the ignorance within the heart and the being of people. That saad, that reality is the weapon for the believer. That make durood al-sharif, increase the love for Prophet, bring down these mountains of ignorance. Then awliyaullah give the second example of the people of Aad and their immense technology, immense structures, beyond what we understand of structures today. And their Prophet's name was Hud. Dal. Means then his name must have an importance. So you can't call him David. You won't take his secret. This goes to people saying, hey, it doesn't really matter, we can call whatever we want. No, you can't. The devil put a trick on you so that you can't activate a secret. You call somebody by the wrong name, you're definitely not going to get the secret, but you may get that thing which you call, and it's not who you expect. So, who is this Prophet named Hud that could bring down all of their structures? When Allah gives to us, they were more mightier than you. Means every time somebody thought they were mighty in this history, Allah said they were on top of all of them. Because He didn't make a reference they were more mightier than these people. They're more mightier than you in their structures. That at any time anyone would read this ayah, Allah they were better than you, stronger than you, mightier than you. Their structures were immense. And they were brought with a wind. So what's the wind? It's a nafas. When the believer begins to activate their breath, what's happening? We said before, nafas al-Rahmah, when they train and they begin to breathe and they bring the power of breath in, the visualization in their tafakkur is their breathing. But dhikruhu, they take all the secret of Hu within the atmosphere and energy all around us, and they bring that Hu into their lungs. That energy of Hu comes into the lungs and begins to energize the blood and energize into the heart. And they expel their waste and bad energy. They visualize positive energy coming in, but dhikruhu, and pushing out every type of negative energy. So that one day as they reach their sincerity and more openings coming, nafas al-Rahmah begins to open. Why? Because Nabi al-Rahmah, the reality of Prophet from his qudra and his power is pushing that energy into your breath, igniting the very breath that you have, that it's no longer the breath from dunya. You're not taking the waste from dunya, but you're breathing from a heavenly breath. That heavenly breath when it comes in is ignited with the Hu, ignited with these elements and these realities. And what does the Hu? Is the Hay and Wow. Means what? The Hay of hidayat and the Wow of wadood. Means Allah begin to dress the servants with the realities of hidayat and guidance, with the realities of Wow and wadood. Means these are the servants that carry the secrets of divine love, the Hu men. Because Allah has to dress you from the elements, what the huruf teaches you. You may not understand what I'm talking about, it doesn't matter, it's for entertainment purposes. So Allah is going to dress you with wow. If you're not dressed with wow, you always talk with no love, like rules. You better not do that, you better like that, you better do like that. People don't listen to Allah, astaghfirullah. Why are they going to listen to you? Just rules. But what they're trained with, when Allah opened for them, because Naqshbandiya is very strong on dhikruhu, it's in their awrads, it's in their dhikrs, because Allah will open the element within the servant. I'm going to dress you from my wow. You become from Abdul Wadood, because these are all under the hands of Prophet. As a result, that's why when we travel you would see the wow with the alif. Izzatullah is on this wow. This creation is in existence by wow. Strong force, nuclear force, weak nuclear force. When you go into the atom, what's the elements of an atom? Strong force, weak force, right? How are the electrons coming and how the electrons being pushed back, they say there's a force. So science has an understanding but they don't know this reality. What is that force? Love. Not a love that we understand, lust and desires. Allah has a love. He puts a divine love that everything wants to collapse upon it. Like a powerful magnet. If you had two powerful magnets, if you put it here, your finger would be crushed and taken because it would squeeze everything out for the two magnets to meet. He puts a drop of divine love in an atom because everything is just a massive more atoms. Puts His divine love inside the atom, everything wants to collide. Creates a force that says, no, you can't. Strong force. Little bit weaker force that it comes a little bit but it really doesn't, and then it begins to circumambulate. So everything is based on that wow. So what happens when Allah makes you Abdul Wadood? He's granting you the secret within every element. It's not something outside. He's granting you that I want you to be from the people who understand wadood and love, not the love of dunya. Divine love, the elemental love that is the glue and the power for our entire existence. Entire universes are based on atoms. The power within that atom is based on wow. The whole of Qur'an opens from power of wow. Right? As a result of that wow, Allah is addressing the servants with this Divinely love. They are becoming the servants of love, divine love. They have the ability to access every element of love within all atoms because it becomes your reality. That's why they're at peace with nature, they're at peace with creation. If they go more into their tafakkur, more into their contemplation, what happens? They begin to access the wow in everything. Everything has the wow. Every animal, every creature, how Sayyidina Sulaiman was speaking to the creatures. He was accessing the wow that is created from a divine love. From that divine love they access and they understand its communication, its reality, its sustenance, everything that Allah provided for that creation. The whole reason and understanding of its existence. Why? By the key of wow. So you're going this way. So as a result these servants are dressed with wow. Then Allah begin to dress them with hidayat, real guidance. So we say other people they talk guidance but these are the guidances from the world of light. As a result their five senses must be trained because hidayat is based on your senses. When we talked about that is hudan al-muttaqeen. The beginning of the Qur'an describes these people, right? Alif Lam Mim dhalika al-kitab la rayba fihi. Hudan al-muttaqeen. Beginning of the Qur'an tells you that its guidance is not going to be for you. You're going to get furqan. You're not going to understand its realities, you're going to get right and wrong, right and wrong. So they think they're extracting realities of Qur'an. Qur'an is telling you right at the beginning, this encryption code, alif, lam, mim, dhalika al-kitab, verily this book, they don't know what the book is Sayyidina Muhammad, dhalika al-kitab la rayba fi. There's no crookedness in Prophet's reality. He carries and he's the walking Qur'an of Allah, the walking book of Allah. But hudan now is then described. It's a guidance for muttaqeen, not alameen. Hudan al-muttaqeen. So right at the beginning, they don't have to go too far into it. Right at the beginning after you read Fatiha, Allah clarified for you. No, this is an encrypted reality. So then who are the muttaqeen? We talked many times before. Muttaqeen are those whom all of their senses have yaqeen. Right? In Ramadan you don't only fast with your mouth, you fast with your ears, you fast with your eyes, you fast with your breath. You fast with your senses, you fast with your desire. All 5 senses, your Ramadan is in fasting. So that the yaqeen and the certainty of every sense begins to open for the servant. They're trained how to have certainty of hearing, cut off dunya hearing and keep training on your meditation so that you can hear your inspiration, your connection to the shaykhs. Then Allah begins to open your hearing. You're seeing. Stop seeing the world, close the eyes so that Allah can begin to open the certainty of seeing. So every sense has a sense that you use for dunya, but you have to change and train that sense for its akhirah reality. As a result, these are the students in training for muttaqeen. As a result of muttaqeen and all their senses being trained, they are the people of the hay. So that these people of who, they're trained with guidance, means all their senses have a yaqeen and certainty. They have like a yeah, they have a yaqeen, Allah is giving them a certainty. As a result, all their senses and to their darajats, they can be infinite in what Allah gives to the certainty of one person's hearing and another person's seeing, another person's sense of touch, another person's sense of speech. All of these senses have to be under tarbiyah and the training of certainty. As a result, these are the people who carry the secret of wow. These are the guides of wow. When they make dhikra who, what happens? Allah gives a sample about Hud, that he made a zikr. They don't know that in the Qur'an, but Allah describes these towers were destroyed by mighty winds. Means as soon as they begin to make the dhikr of who, it activates all the creatures of that reality. All the power of that reality begins to move all around them. And as a result of its movement, we said it's not even a category 3 tornado or category 4 tornado, beyond category 5 tornado of energy and movement of energy that ripped apart entire structures of whatever they built was completely ripped apart. More than what we have now. We think of our skyscrapers and homes and concretes and steel. Allah said their creation was far more advanced. And we sent a mighty wind, but doesn't describe openly what this wind is. This was the wind of who? As soon as they make the dhikr of who, who's activated? All the jinn nations come. All the different creatures of that who, all the power of all the atoms, where who resides in that atom and holds it together, they bring all that energy force and begin to collapse the entire atomic structure of that structure. Because whatever they built it with, they had to build with an element. That element is an atom. Whether the atom is called concrete, whether the atom is called steel, whether the atom is called wood. If you had the ability like a thread, if you had a secret of who, you could pull the thread out. So whether it was steel, it would collapse, whether it was metal, it would collapse, whether it was wood, it would collapse. Now there's a guy, Hutchinson, who would do energy exams, and he would do vibrations of sound, because who is based on sound. He could do certain vibrations where he would bring metal and wood and they would go together. That the metal would actually go in like it became part of the wood. Then they banned all his experiments and they said, no, don't do these experiments. But they have scientists who have actively tried to understand this power of sound and what are the frequencies of these elements and how do they manipulate those elements. But from heavenly, they're teaching everything is based on an atom. Every atom, its core is who. If who pulls away, your atom is but dust. And Allah describes, this earth of yours, this creation of yours is but an illusion. So what was meant by that? That it's a hologram. It's just atoms that are moving. And as it moves very fast, it gives to you an appearance of something solid, right? The electrons move so fast, it appears to you as something solid. And Allah is giving to us in Qur'an that your whole creation is but an illusion. Within that illusion, if Allah pulls the who, the atoms will collapse. So He merely with the izzatullah, permission of Allah that now is the time, bring the tower down. Begin to make the dhikr of who, bring entire tufan of energy, and all the atoms within its reality dropped and it became like dust from whatever they built in front of them. Then the people of Marifah who want to be with Sayyidina Mahdi salam, then go back to the awrads and the zikrs. That we have the dhikr of who, we have strong basis of salawats, and they're giving to us that this is the importance. Destroy all the arrogance and pride and structures within the being, and that Allah give a command of who within the person, so that when that servant breathes, the who that's coming in of Divinely power, it disseminates and disintegrates every falsehood and every arrogance that shaitan is trying to build within insan. Because the towers represent arrogance. When you build something high, you want to stand there and look down upon people as if there's something small. And that's why Prophet said, don't build over 3 stories. We're not a people who are proud, be humble and low to the ground. But for the one for inner purification, it's the destruction of every bad arrogance. And the power of who, if Allah ignite the breath, it begins to destroy everything inside of arrogance and pride. The salawat and durood al-sharif upon Prophet to destroy the hardness of the heart and the mountain of the ego that exists in the servant. These are the tools for rijal and for victory in Allah's way. Nothing about dunya people, there's no victory for them. They neither have victory over their heart and the hardness of the heart, nor do they have victory over their arrogance and bad character, unless they're the people of dhikr, that they do the dhikr of who, they breathe and understand the realities of breathing, unlock the realities of breathing, and understood the reality of durood al-sharif and salawat al-Nabi. These are then the realities that prepare the servant for the internal reality and arrival of Sayyidina Mahdi salam. That while people are thinking they're preparing for a fight outside, without zikr you're going to take any mountain down, the mountain probably will fall on your head, nor are you going to do anything with anyone's tower. They're from their tower they shoot you in the head. But this has to do with the inner battle of bad character. The inner battle has to be achieved, the inner battle has to be victorious. So the servant then represents this divine ocean of love. We pray that Allah grant us from these realities and the immensities of these realities, inshaAllah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa bi siri Surat al-Fatiha. Shafat ya Rasul Kareem. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below. The programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.